What's up, guys? Drew coming to you here. Now, a big question that I always receive is, who is Robert Kiyosaki? Is he a reliable source? Should I read his books? Should I attend his seminars? So I figured I'd make a quick review on him. A big question is he a fraud? Is he a scam artist? So before I decided to make this review, I picked up a copy of Rich Dad Poor Dad, read it, and after analyzing his material and checking out a couple of his videos, a couple of hour-long videos, I decided to make this review. Now, before we begin, I do have to disclose that I am a real estate guy. I'm a big advocate for real estate, and I believe it's one of the best investment, if not the best investments you're ever gonna make. So now that I've disclosed that, let's begin. Now, after reading his book, you're able to tell that in one chapter he speaks about his rich dad's teachings and his poor dad's teachings in one chapter. And then the entire book he advocates on the business mentality and real estate in general. Now, the entire entrepreneurship mind, should you drop your job, quit right now, and start your own business? It's, I feel that the book helps a lot to the people that are already there, but to the people kind of trying to get there, it kind of leaves them, more and sets them in a longer path than actually narrowing it down for them. Right? What I mean by that is most entrepreneurs and people that have been doing this for years. For example, I've been in this field over 9 years, right? So it's something that you already kind of know. You know that sacrifice is part of it. You know payment's gonna be at the end. You know all these different concepts. Now, if you're an employee, which there is no problem being an employee makes the world go around, right? To get into all this mentality that you're gonna get paid last, that there's gonna be a huge struggle, that you're gonna have to sacrifice friends, time, loved ones, so on and so forth, is completely mind-puzzling. And are they wrong for that? Do they just have to switch their mentality? Not at all. Being an entrepreneur is not for everybody. Being a business owner is not for everybody. And if you're trying to seek a better paycheck, do what you love and just be better at it. Point blank. I have friends that are in the IT business that make over 6 figures a year. They never have to set up their own shop. Do they feel like they're gonna need to one day? They do, but that's just because they want to grow. So the entrepreneurship mind is not for everybody. And people that tell you, you need to be an entrepreneur, this is the job of the 21st century, it's not. It's neither here nor there. It's either you're born with it, it's either you got it or you don't. Point blank. Now, Robert Kiyosaki, of course, talks about the cash flow quadrant. You should get into real estate. Now, I believe in real estate, so I have to agree with all of that. As far as the cash flow quadrant, some people, they live as employees and some are business owners and whatnot. It's true, but you get paid depending on your work ethic. There's some people that, if you work for a company, you're never going to make more than 40% of what the company makes. Obviously, you're probably going to make under 10. But depending on what your job is, you can make a good salary. It's not telling you you're gonna live on 30,000. It's not telling you you're gonna live on 50,000. Like I said, a lot of people get paid 100,000 upon graduation. For example, my sister got an offer for 120,000. She's a mechanical engineer from MIT, but it just really depends what field you're in. So remember that. Don't just think that you have to set up your own business and get desperate and start questioning yourself. It's something that's going to come to you, and just follow your gut. Now, a lot of people keep asking me, is the story fake? Is the rich dad, poor dad story fake? And sadly, it seems like it is. It seems like he made up the rich dad thing. He used to being a different seminar business, the seminar teaching business, and apparently he met his rich dad through that. And it wasn't really his rich dad, it was just the person leading the seminars. Now, whether that's not relevant. It's just not relevant. Most stories that you're gonna hear, if they're not from a first source, if it's somebody that has written down a story about someone else, that's kind of glorified it in a way that's fake. But the lesson doesn't change. For example, if you went and saw the Jobs movie with Ashton Kutcher, it was fake. It was a huge fake. Anybody that knows anything about Steve Jobs knows his history. Even Steve Wozniak saw it, and it's like, wow, he could have gave me a call. But the teachings don't change. They don't. Buddha used to say, whether if I existed or not, it doesn't change. The teachings are constant. So I think it's irrelevant to try to dig up the fact that his rich dad was alive or not. It doesn't matter. The fact is that he does try to aim at helping you out. He does want you to see more or less the business mentality, but at the same time, not everybody's cut out to be in that quadrant, as you may say. You know, it's not for everybody. Not everybody's gonna be a business owner, and it's fine. It's fine. Being an employee is one of the most satisfying things you can do, and you can help build that bigger dream. If you ask the Amazon employee number 1 or the Google employee number 35, they all feel they contributed as much as the next or the guy that came before them, right? So that's neither here nor there. Also, I have to disclose that I just ordered Increase Your Financial IQ. I'm going to read that one and then the real estate book. And that's pretty much where it ends. I'm not in the direct selling market, so that doesn't really appeal to me. As far as his business of the 21st century, I feel like that's not relevant to anything I do. But let me disclose one last thing before I go. This gentleman is a businessman. In a sense, he's an entrepreneur. Why do I say he's an entrepreneur? Because he doesn't know much about what he's doing. He knows just enough to be dangerous. But what he does is that he surrounds himself with people that are very agile, people that know what they're talking about. In one of his real estate videos, he was with a PhD. He was well informed of the market, of different trends. His wife, Kim, is a real estate expert. Now, most entrepreneurs aren't super savvy on every detail that they do. Think about it like this. Take this analogy. If you're the head of the operation, you don't have to be the arm. You can use an arm, you can use a leg, you can use a chin, etc. But you're the brains, so you don't have to do everything. You don't have to know everything. You just have to know that you don't know enough. You think John D. Rockefeller of Standard Oil knew everything about the distillment of oil? Of course not. You think JP Morgan knew everything about banking? Nope. You think Andrew Carnegie knew about steel? He knew just enough to be dangerous. But then again, these are people that are historical icons. Being an entrepreneur means taking risk, doing things that normal people wouldn't do. So you have to remember that. Surround yourself by the best. Now, as far as the direct selling concept, there's this joke on the real estate market, which I happen to be part of, and it's very simple, and it's kind of cruel, but it's very funny. It says, how do you make the most money on real estate? And the joke is, you sell things to agents. Why? Because there's just so many. You know, you got to be honest with yourself and be honest with everybody else. There's a lot of them, and they buy tons of things. They start buying books, they start buying videos, seminars, etc. As far as the direct selling market, it's the same thing. Only difference is that there's a lot more though. There's a lot more of them, a lot more. So what does a salesman do? They sell things to the consumer. If the consumer wants a product, you just provide it to them. So you have to take all this different advice with a grain of salt. But remember that if you're making money, you're going to keep doing what makes you money. You know, like write a book for these people. Sell a seminar. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying it's a business. And you as the consumer should be aware that this is a business. Anybody that's doing a video or a review or writing a book, they're profiting in one way or another, whether it be monetarily or they're trying to build their credibility. Now, I hope this video was able to help you guys out a bit. I'm going to make another review later on Increase Your Financial IQ and the real estate book, and speak a little bit more about Mr. Kiyosaki. But so far, I feel like he's doing a good job. I don't feel like he's a scam artist. I don't feel like he's a fraud. I feel like he's a salesman, and a good salesman at that. So I hope this review was able to help you guys out, make it a little bit better on making your decision on whether to attend a seminar, because seminars are over $500, you know, or choose the right seminar that works for you, or even just buy a book. So remember, whenever you hear advice from anybody, take it with a grain of salt and do your due diligence. That's going to save your life and save you lots of dollars. At the same time, I feel like Mr. Kiyosaki is a good person and he does a good job for the community. Now, click like and subscribe.